So for today, welcome to virtual Chinese Bridge Summer Camp. And my name is Maggie. I'm in Donghua University. But today the weather is really good, so I think I can take you guys to the most scenic places in Shanghai. Like for example, the White and the Band. It's very famous. So I hope you can have a good time and follow me. You're leaving now, so see you there. Bye bye. So hello guys, finally we are at the Band, and behind me we can see a river. This river is the Huangpu River, and behind it there are so many tall buildings. A long time ago, like 40 years ago, this place had nothing. It was just like land, firm with nothing. But now it has so many skyscrapers. For example, we can see one of the buildings, and when you see this building, you know you're finally in Shanghai. This is called the Shanghai Oriental Pearl Tower. It's like maybe the most beautiful scenic thing in Shanghai. When you're up there, you can see like a view of Shanghai. You can see around the river, and maybe at night, if you're lucky, you can see the lighting at night and the beauty of it. On my other hand, we have the Shanghai Center. This building, it's like the tallest building in Shanghai. And on top of it, we have like an observatory floor. You can go at night or even during the day. You just have to pay just something little, and then you can see the view. You can see the whole of Shanghai at night. It's super, super fantastic. So when you have time, you can come along and enjoy the view. Now guys, we come from Pudong to Puxi. Now here, it dates to about 150 years ago. This takes us back to like the mid-19th century. So during this time, Shanghai has like a history of opening up to the world. So these foreign investors coming to Shanghai for investment. So that meant that they needed obviously the banks, they needed the clubs, they needed shopping places, yeah, something like that. So they built up some buildings with foreign architectural design, and what they built during that period, it was considered as the most beautiful buildings, or the most beautiful place rather, in Far East Asia. And I will introduce some of them to you. So among those buildings, we have the Peace Hotel. This hotel, during that time, it was considered as the name card of Shanghai. Yeah, inside the building, there are so many suites of different styles. So when international celebrities come to visit Shanghai, this is the place they choose to stay. Just right outside the hotel, there's a street. This street is called the Nanjing Road. It is very famous for shopping. You can find very many famous brands like Gucci and do your shopping there. So when you come to Shanghai, this is a must-visit street. Then right next to the hotel, we have another building. This building is the Bank of China building. So in this place, it has a very interesting style. So it has a combination of the Western architectural style and the Chinese kind of style. So at the top of it, you can see it's the Chinese kind of style, and the rest of it is the Western architectural style. Next to Peace Hotel, we have another building. This is the Bank of China building. So this building is kind of a bit interesting. It has a combination of both the Western architectural style and the Chinese style. At the top, we can see it has the Chinese style, and the rest of it is the Western architectural style. So the two buildings, they look like they are almost of the same height. So it has a history. It's said that the two buildings, they were in kind of a competition. They were like in a competition of who is the man. So they were playing with the height. So the buildings, they look like all the same height. clock on top of it, and this clock, it rings after every 15 minutes. So here we are. Actually, this building from appearance, it looks like a building in Kenya, a city hall building or a parliament building in Nairobi, Kenya. Anyway, originally, this building, it used to be a lighthouse for the ships coming in, because we have the Huangpu River just on the other side. So it used to be like a lighthouse for the ships coming in. So this is where foreigners would deal with the customs. So it used to be just a customs office. The foreigners would do the whole process of like coming into another country and then do their business. So later on, as we know from history, Shanghai government, or rather Shanghai, became liberated in 1949. So Shanghai government, they brought their offices here. So this became Shanghai government municipal office building. Later on, after so much changes, they transferred their services to the People's Square. So this building just remained as a normal or a typical office building. So among all the buildings on the band, this building was considered to be the most splendid one. And why is that? This building, as we can see from its appearance, it looks like a dome. It has a shape of a dome. This resembles the Greek traditional architectural design. So this building is a major historical and cultural heritage protected at national level. So at the entrance of the building, we have two lions. These two lions, of course, they signify a bank. So these originally used to be a HSBC bank, which means Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. So when you go inside the building, it has a lot of paintings. These paintings, they represent each branch that they have around the world. And then during that period, HSBC, it took the largest share when it came to banking services. As of the moment, this building is now the Shanghai Pudong Development Bank. I know you're wondering, or rather curious, what about the traditional Chinese architectural design? Here we are. This place is known as the City God Temple area. This god is believed to protect the local people as well as maybe the foreigners. So this place, when you come here, you get to enjoy a variety of street food. You can enjoy the Chinese cuisine. You can also buy souvenirs and maybe take them to your friends. And also you can buy the traditional, or rather the Chinese attires, which are very famous around the world. Then during the Spring Festival, thousands of Chinese people and foreigners, they flock this area to come and enjoy the atmosphere here. Because during this Spring Festival, we have the lanterns. We have a lantern show, so people come over to enjoy with their friends and with their families, and as well as welcome the new year. Yeah, we talked about street food. So now I bring you to a place where you can get to enjoy the local dishes, yeah, or rather the local snacks and food. So in this place, with me I have some buns, as you can see. Inside this bun, we have some meat. And then outside of it, we have a sprinkle, or maybe they sprinkled some sesame seeds. So this is called Shenzhen Bao. Yeah, so when you come here, make sure you do enjoy Shenzhen Bao. So I'm going to try. I heard it's very delicious, so I'm going to try it by myself today. So follow me. So, and they say if you go to the Rome, do what the Romans do. So when you come here, this is how we eat it. You take a pair of chopsticks. Yeah, this is how you hold them. You can learn how to use them. And I have with me vinegar. With me I have vinegar, and this is how you use it. You pour some vinegar on this bowl, small bowl, and then what you do next, hold your chopsticks carefully, and let's get to enjoy. We know whether it's delicious though. So yeah, so carefully hold your bun, your shenzhenbao, and then you smear it across this, and you can have a bite. Let's see. It's delicious. So make sure when you come here you get to enjoy this shenzhenbao.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Xiaoling, a student of Donghua. His housekeeper told him that it was a good sign for a promotion. And soon Cai Maosheng really became a senior official. And San Sui Tang, also symbolizing people's pursuit of good luck. Let's see. There are patterns of grain, fruit, corn and sorghum on the windows, which shows people's wishes for harvest. Behind San Sui Tang is Yangshan Tang. We can get a broad view here, right? Just raise our head and we can see the huge rockery opposite. No wonder it is called Yangshan Hall. This is the oldest, the most delicate, and is also the largest rockery extant in Jiangnan region, and is also the masterpiece of Zhang Nanyang, the famous gardener in the Ming Dynasty. The rockery is made of lined and sticky rice juice. Although it has been weathered for more than 400 years, it is still intact, which shows Zhang Nanyang's super skill. The distance of the rockery is very clear, which vary from near to far. The rockery is wooded, and the pavilion on the top is called Wangjiang Pavilion. It was the highest point in Shanghai at that time. Sitting in the pavilion, you can see the Huangpu River. Rockery can not only provide suitable growth environment for different plants, but also make the garden well arranged. Look, I found the lions. They are made of iron. It's very realistic, right? This pair of iron lion has a history of over 700 years. Let's see. There is a hydrangea at his feet, which is a symbol of power and majesty. And the lioness has a little lion at her feet, symbolizing the prosperity of offspring. I found an interesting clay sculpture. We can see plum blossoms and cranes on it, and there is a story behind it. In ancient times, there was a poet who loved plum blossoms and cranes. He took the plum blossom as his wife and cranes as his child, and never married. So the Chinese used the idiom 梅妻鹤子 to refer to seclusion. There are 4 clay sculptures in the 4 corners downstairs. They are plum blossom, bamboo, orchid, and chrysanthemum. It means flowers will bloom all year round in this building. Ancient Chinese literati like to indulge themselves in flowers and plants. The plum blossom, bamboo, orchid, and chrysanthemum are the most favorite. They are known as the 4 gentlemen of plants. Plum blossoms bloom in the late winter, representing the spirit of taking risk. Orchids grow in the remote environment, representing the spirit of narcissism. Bamboo is tall, slender, and vigorous, and represents a strong character. Chrysanthemum bloomed in autumn when other flowers wither, and is a symbol of individuality. Standing in front of the Wanhua Tower and looking into the distance, we can also see many kinds of flowers and plants. No wonder it is called Wanhua Tower. Look, there are two big trees in front of the Wanhua Tower. Let's see. I found another two dragons. We can see a Pearl Yuyuan garden now. What do you think of Chinese gardens? One of the characteristics of classical Chinese gardens is to create natural landscapes by humans' intelligence, which makes you feel like you are just in nature. The landscape and buildings set each other off in the garden and isolate from the outside world. Just like that, the master Pan Yunduan loved Yulinglong very much. In order to see it at any time, he built a study opposite the Yulinglong and named the study with the characters Yuhua on the Yulinglong. This study is the Yuhua Tang we passed by just now. This is Hanbi Tower. The wood used in this building is all the finest Nanmu from Myanmar. There are very fine carvings in this building. How's that? Do you like where the ancient Chinese people lived? Do you have a general understanding of China is coming to end? Welcome to Yuyuan Garden in Shanghai, China, and welcome to the South China to experience the natural beauty of the classical Chinese gardens. See you next time!
Hello, welcome to Chinese Bridges Summer Camp. Today I'll introduce you to Chinese Shanghai Textile and Clothing Museum, the only professional museum in China that comprehensively introduces you to the history, cultural and scientific approaches in textile and clothing. Let's go! Hello, welcome to the modern section. In this section, we're going to take a look at the women's part, the children's wear, and men's wear, 3 sections. In this section, you'll see the real clothes traced back to Qing Dynasty and the Republic of China. Now let's take a look at this beautiful red satin dragon robe. If you see a dragon on it, it's embroidered with multi-colored stones. Well, normally people would think of the only person who are allowed to wear dragon robe is the emperor of ancient China. That's a common misunderstood concept. Actually, women can wear it as well, but only the wives of high officers. This beautiful piece is actually the traditional style that can be traced back to Ming Dynasty. Please take a look at this large-sized, extravagant sleeve. This kind of sleeve is only worn by Ming Dynasty's women. But in Qing Dynasty, Han people are allowed to keep their tradition. Therefore, the sleeve was kept. Having seen what Han's people wear, then let's take a look at what Manchu women wear. Look at this beautiful long dress. Did you notice any difference? The sleeve, right? This kind of sleeve has a unique name called horse hoof cuff. This horse cuff is developed and designed specifically for the lives on grasslands. As you can imagine, in Oslo time, the only transportation at that time is horse. In order to ride a horse, you cannot wear something that has wide sleeves, right? That's not convenient for sure. This kind of sleeve can snugly cover your arm and the back of your hand. Also, it can be worn when riding it. It is worth mentioning, however, that this sleeve is actually a representative of both Han's culture and Man's culture at the same time. Because the traditional sleeve of horse hoof cuff is actually much tighter. Later on, we'll see that in the men's section. Well, the Manchu women were envied and jealous when they saw how Han's women living in palaces, living an extraordinary life. The sleeves are wide and they look beautiful, so they want something like that as well. Therefore, they mix both symbols of horse hoof cuff and large sleeve size, both at the same time.
I believe you're familiar with Qingxiang, right? It's now the symbol of traditional Chinese women clothing in the worldwide. It's now still in a lot of beautiful women's closets. And Qingxiang was actually recognized as the best invention in the Republic of China, the short life period of Chinese governmental history. Now, please look at this beautiful pale green silk Qingxiang. It was made from this pale green fabric, which is silk, and embroidered by cuts into cloud shape, which has block meaning inside of it. Inside the embroidery, you can see really petite and unique figure, which are women. What are those women doing? They're actually collecting fruit. It's a very harmonious country scene and has beautiful wishes inside of it. Now we're in children's wear. This cute little satin colorful jacket is a little kid's wear. Well, you see, it's very interesting because it's mixed with multicolored fabric. Why is that? It has a very interesting name called 百家衣. As the name indicates, the fabric was collected from hundreds of households. Why do parents do that? Is that because there's lack of fabric? No, that's not true. In ancient China, children often die at a young age because of the poor medical condition. In that case, parents believe if they collect fabric from hundreds of households and then put it into a beautiful piece together, the god of death cannot recognize which child is which family is from. Therefore, the child can live a long and happy, healthy life. You see, this clothes, despite it's made from hundreds of household fabric, it's still delicately made. And the beautiful embroidery on the side around the neck shows how parents love their kids. Now we're in men's wear. If you still remember what I've said before in the women's section, then you should probably notice the sleeve of this long robe. Well, this is the traditional and original pattern of horse hoof cuff. In Qing Dynasty, Manchu is the group that governed the vast China. As you can imagine, a small group of people govern and rule over the vast lands and a huge population. They have to establish very strict political and military rules. And despite that, methods like clothing and cultural measures are used as well. This clothing is not only worn by Manchu. Huntsmen have to wear it as well at the same time. A very interesting fact, if you ever watch soap operas describing the ancient lives of Chinese people, you'll probably notice an interesting salute where when people do this kind of exquisite, they would firstly unfold their sleeves. Why do they do that? Because the sleeve is so tight that the emperor is feared of if some people may hide some sort of weapon inside of it. If they unfold their sleeves, they're not only showing their respect, but also showing, hey, I don't hide anything inside of it. You can be confident I'm a safe person. What are seen now are the square-shaped embroidery. These are not just made for the beautiful look of it, they actually have their unique function, and their names are 补子. So what are the use of it? As you can see, they have animals on it. These are birds, and birds are representative of the civil officers. Well, they will later put these square-shaped embroidery on large black robe. And therefore, when you see someone who wears this bird-shaped pattern embroidery, you know they are civil officers. What about military men? What do they put on? Well, on their clothes, you will see a beast like a tiger or lion, which are fierce, which represent they are from military. That's the end of my introduction. Coming along the way, you'll find that Chinese clothing can be changed by a long period of time, and it has a mixed culture of ethnic groups, of traditional style, and also some Western elements as well. These beautiful pieces have not been done along the history. Actually, they're still flourishing today. Many things we can learn from. If you're interested in it, you can dig in more stories and come into the museum to see them by yourself. Thank you.
Hello, we're now in the Asian section. In this section, we're gonna see words materials, pictures materials, and replications of different fabrics as well. In this section, you're going to have the chance to see how Chinese ancient textiles changed during different periods of dynasties. Now let's have a look. China is the earliest nation in the world that in ancient time we have developed techniques to make fabric and build clothes as well. In these pictures, you'll see primitive men using bone needles to sew clothes and make fabric. You also see they have bone shuttle, bone looms as well to knead, to sew, and to make fabrics. This giant machine in front of you is steam qiao shaft draw loom. This ancient machine had been used for almost thousands of years, but guess what? It has been using till now. In some faraway districts, remote districts in China, some ancient groups are still using it as a way to fabricate their clothes. You see, during complicated process, very small, narrow embroidery piece will come out in the end, delicately and beautifully. This famous piece is Su Sha Dan Yi. It was explicated from Ma Wangdui. Why is it so famous worldwide? It's because this long gown only weighed 49 grams. Think about it, how incredible that is. Well, this gown had been way traced back to Han period, where it's a time for its poverty, but China still developed high technical fabric making skills, which is incredibly amazing. In Tang Dynasty's time, China has reached its most prosperous period. In this period of time, China opened up its gates so that Western cultures flushed into us. You can find the elements, the pattern, the color, the design all change because of the absorbing of Western cultures, where you can find exotic cultures and beautiful patterns inside of it. These two pieces in front of you are Kesi replicas from Song Dynasty. Well, Kesi is a kind of technique that belongs to embroidery, but there's something different of it because how complicated it is to make Kesi. Well, to build a gown of Kesi, you have to use as long as a whole year's period of time to finish it. And that's why it shows the superiority of Chinese embroidery techniques in ancient times. Have you ever wondered how silk was made? Here's the answer. These three models show the process of making silk. First of all, you need to boil the cocoons so that the thread of it could come out. Later than that, you use a machine to straighten the line so that later than the fabric can be made in this draw loom as a whole piece. This beautiful fabric in front of you is a replication from Qing Dynasty. What makes this piece different from other ordinary mural pieces of fabrics is that it uses gold thread technique, where you can see gold shiny clay dragon on the fabric. How was it made? It used gold thread, where you firstly melt the gold, then you straighten it to make it into long thread. Finally, you fabricate it with other normal cotton threads together. That's how it was built. You have to be amazed at how wonderful these ancient Chinese craftsmen are at developing these kind of new techniques. Now let's move back to the period of Republic of China. You must be astonished when you see this cheongsam, which was made from hundreds of years ago because of how fashionable it is. That's because of the mixed culture of Western elements. You see, at that time, in the Republic of China, Western cultures like American, French, they all flushed in to brought in their styles of clothes. That's why the fashion trend of cheongsam was changed so quickly that maybe over 2 or 3 years it has been changed to a different style. That's why beautiful ladies feel puzzled and kind of painful because they have to change the beautiful dresses in their closet very soon. Silk stockings as early as 20th century? Wow! Were they made in ancient China? Unfortunately not. These stockings are brought by American soldiers when they came to China to fight a war. However, that doesn't change the popularity of it.
The wives of high officers are crazy for the stockings because of how light and beautiful and invisible it is when they wear them. One pair of silk stocking is equal to 50 grams of gold. That's how expensive it was. This pale yellow robe is quite unique from other clothes that I have been introduced previously. Did you notice any difference? Not the sleeves, right? It's the left piece of this robe. You see, it has 1 inch shorter than the right side and has 3 buttons on it. Why is that? It's not because of the lackage of fabric, right? This is because the function of this piece. It was used to go hunting. You see, when people go hunting, you need to ride on a horse. To pop on a horse with a long rope like that, it's not easy and convenient. That's why people developed this function, where you need to hop on the back of the horse, firstly unleash the 3 buttons. That's how you got on it easily. When you are settled and good, you locked it on once again. Elegant, beautifully, and convenient as well. Also, please take a close look at the pattern of this line. It's not get on it by embroidery. It actually was made during the fabric when you need it. And that's how extraordinary Asian Chinese craftsmen are. This ordinary purple robe seems quite normal. What makes it different is the pattern on it, a flower, but inside of the flower there are 4 different characters, which is 延年益寿, means to live a long life. That's because of the kayak period of the Republic of China, where deaths are happening every single day. People do not have any wishes other than to live a peaceful life. Now we are at the ethnic group section. The garment behind me is from Guizhou Miao ethnic group. You see how amazing it is with so many embroidery and silver accessories, including silver hats, silver necklace, silver earrings, everything. Well, a garment like this needed the parent to prepare for it as early as the daughter was born. That's because of how time-consuming and expensive it is to make something like this. You see, in China, ethnic groups are mainly in poverty because of the location. They're located in remote areas in China, which means the economic and financial conditions are pretty poor. That's why something like this really shows how much love the parents love their children and the care they have. These pieces behind me is from Yunnan Honghe ethnic group. They use patchwork and wax dyeing to make their pieces unique and extraordinary. Any idea about wax dyeing? Well, first of all, you provide wax on the fabric to build the pattern you want. After that, you put the fabric into the dyeing material, where you can see the places you don't put wax, they are dyed into blue color, and the places you put wax on it, they remained the white color as before. That's how it was being made. Well, ancient groups, people mainly use wax
wax dyeing, embroidery, and patchwork to make their pieces beautiful. These ancient techniques did not disappear. In Doha University, we have special programs for those people in craftsmen from remote areas and ethnic groups. We want to remain and keep these techniques and make them flourish fashionable once again, not only in China, but also worldwide.